Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. We're here in the Cruiser 4, or at least we're going to be doing a garage review of the Cruiser 4. The Cruiser 4 is a Tier 3 British light tank, and it mounts a very nice gun on it. However, the other stats were alright as well, though, I suppose. So starting off here, only 8% protection, 34% firepower, 50% shot effectiveness, 73% shot effectiveness. Right. Okay. So yeah, that's the overall base stats. As for the hit points, 440 HP, which let's have a look at this. 395. BT7 artillery has got 400. S35 got 420, BTSV has got 410, Corp Tractor has got 500, of course, and the Gars Tractor. So it's got a fair amount of HP for the tier, one of the higher amounts of HP for tier 3. The hull armour and turret armour, however, is not that great at all. 30 frontal hull, 14 sides and rear, 30 frontal turret, 12 and 14 sides and rear. Is not great, really. Angling doesn't really matter. Just 30 at the front is just not good enough for tier 3. It's good enough for tier 2, but not for tier 3. So it is a bit lacking on the armour, unfortunately. However, the manoeuvrability definitely makes up for it. Manoeuvrability and speed is key to you, my friend. It's key to your survival because, well, the British philosophy at the time. Let's actually just go ahead and research that. So yeah, the British philosophy at the time for the cruiser. Well, the British philosophy of World War II, in fact, was to divide the tanks into two categories. You had the cruiser tanks, and you had the infantry tanks. The infantry tanks are things like the Churchill, the Matilda. They're very hard, they're well armoured, but with distinctly mediocre guns, designed for taking out fortifications and the supporting of infantry. The cruiser designs were fast, speedy, manoeuvrable things which didn't really care too much for armour. And that is what the cruiser is. It is, of course, a cruiser 4, so it's designed to sort of zip around the battlefield. And yeah, the manoeuvrability certainly tells. 15.09 tons load limit. Well, sorry, it weighs 15.9 tons, 0.9 tons, with a 395 horsepower engine, which means you go at a very quick, a very brisk 48 kilometers per hour. And it also means you've got a 46.03 degrees per second hull traverse and a 44 degrees per second turret traverse, which makes it a very good flanking, manoeuvrable, mobile light tank at tier 3, which is very nice. As for the rest of it, engine, 20% chance of fire and impact. The suspension, load limit, 17.10 tons, so you've still got a lot to play around with. Actually, do you? How much? It weighs 15 tons, doesn't it? Yeah. Only have a couple of tons to play around with, but still a couple of tons should be enough. 46 degrees per second to reverse speed. Yeah, that's all good. 258 meters view range, because I fitted coated optics as part of the basically mandatory equipment layout. So yeah, there's that. But now we come to the gun. So coming from the Cruiser 3, you will have unlocked this thing, which is the 40mm pom-pom, which is an anti-aircraft gun. It has 3 shells in the magazine with a 9-second reload, 49 average pen, which is alright, 45 average damage. It tears things up pretty good. So you will have mounted this thing, if you didn't go for the Ordnance Quickfire 2-pounder Mark 9, which is, of course, the stock gun. It's got good points and bad points. Good point. Better penetration than the 40mm pom-pom. Quicker reload time. A rate of fire of 19.05 seconds compared to the magazine reload of almost 10 seconds on the 40mm pom-pom here. I didn't want to do that. It's got the same average damage, being the same caliber. Much better dispersion, 0.31 compared to the 0.40 of the pom-pom, with a better aim time as well, compared to the pom-pom. Yeah, 3.9 seconds. So there's that. So you've got your choice there. But then, you've also got a choice of mounting this thing, which is the better gun, in my opinion. It is the quick-fire 40mm Mark 6 Bofors, which is an anti-aircraft gun. Once again, for some reason the Cruiser 4 and the British like mounting anti-aircraft guns on their vehicles. Similar to the way that the Germans like mounting 2cm flags on the Panzer II. But as a tank gun, it's a very good tank gun and anti-aircraft gun. 4 shots in the magazine, 0.5 seconds reload to reload the shells, which come out as a burst of 2, similar to the Panzer II. So you'll have 2 shell icons on your HUD when you're in battle, and then clicking once will fire off 2 shells, clicking again will fire off the next 2, so it's a burst fire weapon, so it'll go pum 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 like that. Overall shell magazine reload time of about 8 seconds, which is alright. 63 average pen with armour piercing, which is very nice. 101 with APCR. 12 with high explosive, so unless you're shooting at aircraft, I would suggest not going with high explosive. Average damage is only 45, again, being a 40mm. These are all 40mm caliber, so the damage will not change at all. But with APCR, goes down to 35 average damage. 60 damage with high explosive, so at least it's that. 0.38 dispersion, which is not great. It's not really a sniping role. 4.4 second aim time. Yeah, it's a decent gun. Of course, the 2-pounder is of course still valid, but I prefer to go with the Bofors because it does a large amount of damage in a short amount of time, able to shave the health off of most, if not all, tier 2s, and shave off at least half the health of a tier 3. So it's a very damaging weapon to be used in close quarters. Very good for the peek-a-boom tactic, as it were. The only problem is, of course, that reload time, but overall I think it's the best gun out of these. Let's just research that with a bit of free XP. There we go. So yeah, that is overall all of the what is it? Stats. Yes, all of the paper stats of the tank. It's a very quick, mobile, nippy little thing, which does not have a lot of armor, but it has a very good anti-aircraft gun mounted on it. As you can see, the 40mm Bofors is a marvelous weapon. As for ammunition, 120 rounds, which is more than enough to get you through even the largest raid, tank fight rather. And of course you can spice that up with a little bit of APCR if you want. You see there, armor piercing, high velocity Mark 1T for APCR, or you've got the SAP Mark 1T. What's the S stand for? I can't think. I know that's armor piercing, but I'm not too sure. High explosive Mark 2T. As for provisions, you've of course got standard fuel for plus 3% to engine power and tire traverse. And then you've got black tea for 3% crew mastery. And then you've got protective kit, 15% to protection of crew from injuries, 10% speed of module repair, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo and fuel tank durability. So you can, of course, go ahead and mount some of them if you want. As for consumables, repair, first aid, fire extinguisher, your standards. And then you've got engine power boost, 20% engine power for 15 seconds. No adrenaline rush, or no adrenaline rather, as you will notice, because it's a magazine-fed weapon, so it doesn't really matter if you have a speedier loader. Doesn't matter, it's a magazine, so it won't adjust anything other than reload time. And then you've got the multi-purpose restoration pack, which extinguishes all fire, repairs all damaged modules, and heals all injured crew member, which is basically the 3 rolled into 1. You could go with that and that maybe, and then mount another one of these, but I prefer to go with the 3 standards. Yeah, so there's that. As for equipment, improved vents is going to be something that you'll want, because there is no gun rammer, and you don't need the calibrated shells. So yeah, you don't really need that, because 63 penetration is decent enough at tier 3. So it will get you through almost everything at tier 3 and tier 4. Only a couple of exceptions, such as the Matilda springs to mind, maybe the Valentine, perhaps, but I'm not too sure about that. So yeah, improved vents, protected modules, coated optics. You could go with Camonet, but I'm going with coated optics. And then I would suggest going with supercharge, because the aim time, 4.4 seconds, is very good. So you don't really need the enhanced gun lane drive, so supercharge for that. Enhanced armour is pretty useless on 30mm of armour, so I would say improved assembly for more HP, again more survivability, which will give you one of the largest health pools at tier 3 actually, coming up to the Gross Tractor. So yeah, go with improved assembly. Then I would suggest engine accelerator probably over improved control. You've got very good traverse speed anyway, 46 degrees per second, so you don't really need that. So engine accelerator, refined gun to get the accuracy a little bit better. Don't really need vertical stabilizers, so I would say refined gun. Then your choice of enhanced tracks or toolbox, and then your choice of whatever the hell those things are. As for crew, can't say much. Blitz does crew skill weirdly. And yeah, that's that. So the Cruiser 4, it's a very fast light tank with a very damaging gun. I do rather like this tank. It's got a great gun, and the maneuverability is very quick, very speedy. So yeah, I'll thank you for watching, and goodbye.